I'm a spirit channeler and oracle card reader who channels both light and shadow energies in my readings, which means if you're easily triggered, please find yourself another reader. Hey everyone, so what does your soul want? Won the poll. So you have 3 piles to choose from. Of course, choose intuitively as always. Don't worry about what it says on the cards. From left to right, card 1, card 2, and card 3. Pause the video if you need some more time to choose, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. So what does your soul want? Your soul wants to be abundant and financially stable. It wants to have a beautiful home, like a really, really nice home with a large plot of land where it can run around, where its children can run around, where it can plant in the garden and that sort of stuff. It also wants to live in a green area, a green space, a green city where there are a lot of parks around. It wants to have extra space, like extra land. So that probably means living just outside of the city or in a town. It also wants to have a job where it can work preferably from home, at least for most of the time. It wants an autonomous, independent job where it's basically its own boss, or if it does have a boss, then it basically has a lot of freedom and room to work on its own schedule and on its own time, on its own terms, and get things done. So that's what your soul wants. I did notice that after I cast these cards, that it's telling me what the problem or what the block is, like from your egoic self, which is not what I was asking when I originally cast the cards, but it decided to tell me anyways. So we transition here into this 9 of Swords, and you have a lot of anxiety about something to do with karma and issues about how you will be in your next lifetime, or how you will be perceived in the afterlife when it comes time to transition, if you are like really wealthy. And I asked, like, why on earth would they think this? And with this card that I got to clarify that, I picked up heavily that you had a mother who or a female guardian who was most of you guys, they were really religious. For most of you guys, they were working class, and they said a lot of negative things about rich people, about the rich and the wealthy, and even like maybe some neighbors who seemed to be doing better than they were. They would make kind of snide remarks or say something like, oh, they must be this, like something negative. Like if there was, say, another woman living with her husband across the street from her, and she had like a nicer garden or a bigger house or something like that, or they had nicer cars, they had 2 cars, like your mother or your female guardian would make some kind of like snide remarks or say like, oh, like maybe like they outright said they must be stealing from people, or I'm sure they're not good Christians, I'm sure they don't go to church or something like that, or they would just talk down to them, like talk down about them to their faces. Though this female was very pleasant and neighborly and friendly. There was a lot of envy in this female's heart when it came to people who were doing better than her. And it didn't even have to be the really, really rich people, just anyone doing, making more than, say, 10K a year than what she made. Like, just, it doesn't even have to be that significant. So you have a fear here about earning too much money and earning more than your parents, especially earning more than your mother, and like disappointing her that you are too wealthy. And also there's something here about the afterlife, which is leading me to believe that you grew up in a religious household, or either you believe that she must have said something like read that passage in the Bible where it basically says wealthy people can't get into heaven. It says something like a rich man would have an easier time getting through the eye of a needle than getting into heaven, or something like that. So she must have quoted that verse, and also the verse, obviously the root of all evil is money, or money is the root of all evil. Yeah, so that's lodged in your brain, and that is making you feel guilty, and it's also holding you back, and it's blocking you from actually being able to reach this abundance that you truly want. But this reading is about what your soul wants, and your soul wants that abundance. So it wants to have a large plot of land, like minimum 1 acre, if not like 5 acres. I'm picking up for some of you guys. Horses, even for some of you guys. It wants to have like a stable with some horses. Definitely a garden. It wants to have a lot of green space around it. Wants to work from home for most of the time. Wants to be able to spend more time with its children. It wants to have children and have a large home for them to like run around in and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what your soul wants. So those are your messages. I hope that helped you and resonated. Let me know if it did, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, pal number 3. Welcome to your reading. So what does your soul want? Quite frankly, I don't know what your soul wants. It is confused. And I pulled extra cards for you guys, and I even pulled like what does it actually want, because look, your first card here from the tarot deck is the Two of Swords. It doesn't know what the heck it wants. And even when I tried to clarify even again and say what the heck does it want, keep in mind here we already have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. I pulled the Queen of Swords in reverse and then the Queen of Wands in reverse. Like all 3 queens are in bloody reverse, plus the Two of Swords. What I can tell you is that your soul wants to be rid of certain people, or a certain amount of people, for at least for a certain amount of time. So this is coming off heavily like a mother. I'm sorry if you're not one, but I'm literally seeing a mother with children and a husband, and the soul wants freedom for a while. It wants to be able to go out with its friends for a while. If it's not children and a family, it's friends or family members, like from your birth family. Like you have family members who are stifling you, or you have friends who are stifling you. So you have a group of people who are stifling you, and you want to be rid of them at least for a certain period of time. And you want to be able to go out and be free and travel and like hang out with your friends again. If the stifling people are not your friends, that is. You want to be able to hang out with your friends again. You want to be able to like party, have fun, but it seems like you have so many responsibilities and you can't do any of these things. Like you're constantly like have to stay at home, watch the kids, and you can't go out and party, and you really want to go out and party. Your soul wants to like mingle, and it wants some freedom, and it wants to move around a bit more. It's tired of the stale stuckness that it's in. It's stuck in some sort of like routine, some sort of family like routine where it's stuck. You're either like a mother with children and a husband, or you're a teenager who is still living at home under their parents' thumb, and furthermore you have a couple of siblings and you guys always have to like share stuff in the house. You're tired of your siblings. You may even live with cousins. You're tired of all of them in the house, plus your parents don't let you do anything. Like you're either like one of those two. Look, my lighting went down. Okay, there we go. The Ace of Cups in reverse. So you're not happy. Your soul's not happy with its circumstances. I don't feel like this is forever. Like I don't feel like you want to cut these people out of your life forever, but you're feeling smothered and constricted and trapped, and you want some freedom. You want some freedom. Some of you guys also are fantasizing about a romantic partner, like having a romantic partner. Like some of you guys might be single parents, or really young and you're not with anyone just as yet, and your soul wants like a romance. One thing that will help you calm down a little bit is to read or listen to romance novels. That will help you. Also, fantasy novels will help you as well, where there is action and adventure. So action novels, adventure novels, fantasy novels, and romance novels. Read or listen to them often. They will help you. They'll help your soul. They'll feed your soul. But some of you guys maybe already listen or read all of these types of genres, and you're like, your soul is aching to do the real thing. Your soul really wants to go on a real adventure, wants to really go traveling, wants to really go partying, wants to really have a love affair or 2 or 3, like the characters in your books that you're always reading. So for some of you guys, you are doing these things, you are reading, but your soul wants the freedom to be able to move around and do these things. Some of you guys have been like married for like way too long, or you've been like, you live with someone and you feel stifled. I just want to pull to see if you actually want to leave these people. Mind you, this is a general reading, but because your soul, I don't even know why I'm asking, because I don't even think your soul's bloody confused. I don't even think it knows what it wants to do. It wants to leave home. Look, underneath the deck I have the Six of Swords. Yeah, it wants to leave home. Look, underneath that I have the King of Wands, and this King of Wands is on a horse, and it looks like the Knight of Wands, and then we also have the Knight of Wands. Okay, so your soul definitely wants to leave. It might be permanent, like it wants to leave these people permanently, but I feel I have a hard time saying that, because I really feel like you guys like love these people, but for some reason they're stifling you. You're feeling stifled. I suppose it's possible that this could be like school or a job or an overbearing boss that's stifling you, but I'm really picking up some sort of relationship, whether it's a family relationship or a romantic relationship or friendship. But yeah, your soul wants to move around. It wants to move around. It might be having a midlife crisis. If you're in your mid-40s or somewhere around there, your soul might be having a midlife crisis. I'm laughing because it's funny to think of a soul having a midlife crisis. Like it sounds like something your lower self would have, but apparently your soul is part of it as well. It too is having this midlife crisis. So you know what, now that I think about it, who said it's one's lower self who's having midlife crises? Perhaps all of these midlife crises occur because the soul is restless. So I don't think we ever really thought about that. It's the soul that's probably restless, not our lower selves. It's probably both, to be honest. So I never actually thought about this before, but your soul is restless. So it wants some freedom, it wants some movement, it wants to be unrestricted, it wants to be free and liberated from these stuffy people who are constricting it and taking up all of its time and pulling at its legs and its skirts and like yanking and trying to drag it back and get its attention. It wants to be free of those types of people. So those are messages. I hope that helps you and I hope it resonated. Let me know if it did, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, pal number 2. Welcome to your reading. So what does your soul want? Okay, so this one's really interesting and odd. So your soul wants to be left alone. So hear me out. So in your past lives and also in this life, and you know what, I've actually channeled a reading like this at least 2 times before in 2 other readings, and one of them, it was the what's hidden from you reading that I did not too long ago, and there's one pile in here that's reminding me of yours, and I know that if you went to watch that reading, you would get the pile that talked about some sort of soul mission that you have to do. I don't want to get the 2 other readings mixed up, so I'm not going to give too much information, but you've had many past lives with missions where you're basically given some sort of order or some sort of assignment, and you're meant to do something, and it's like for like a higher power or for your soul group, your soul family, like your coven type of thing I'm picking up. Like is there a gang of you guys? Okay. It's like you were basically constantly given some sort of mission, and in this lifetime it's no different, but your soul wants to be left alone. So it's rather interesting. It's like it's just tired of well, I'm hearing it say nonsense, but with these missions come a lot of trials and tribulations and a lot of issues, and I'm seeing it again in this lifetime. And like there's always some problems that come with these assignments that you have, and in this lifetime or also in other lifetimes, it all stems from being some sort of messenger. So you guys have to impart wisdom and information and messages somehow. And the medium and the manner and the categories or and stuff like that would change or shift, alter a bit from lifetime to lifetime, but essentially it's always giving or spreading some sort of information or channeling some sort of information or communicating in some manner. And you guys, your soul appears to have had enough of it, because like I said, it always comes with some issues. It's like dragging along on your ankle. I'm seeing it like a chain of issues that's every time you walk in a lifetime, it's like it's being dragged along this inevitable chain of unfortunate events. Yeah, so your soul wants to be left alone. It doesn't want to complete any more missions. It wants to find itself with this Hermit card here. It wants to find who the hell it is outside of and separate from this kind of soul family or this soul group or clan or clique that you have going on in the spirit realm. And it could be like some sort of collective consciousness that you're a part of, and you kind of want to explore who you are separate from them, separate from when you're not doing work. It's just like, you know, someone who goes to work and they work like 60 hours a week, or they're just always on their emails, always on their phone, they're always working, and like they don't have a life outside of work, and they kind of forget who they are. Like, who are they when they're not at work? Or, you know, those people who have children and they're stay-at-home parents, and like their life revolves around the children, and it's like they don't even know anymore who they are separate from their children. All they do is talk about their children, or this is the using the analogy of the work, all they do is talk about their work. Even when they're not at work, all they do is think about work when they're not at work. When using the analogy of the parents, when the children are at school, all they do is think about the children. All they do is talk about the children when the children are not around. All they do is mind the children when the children are around. These people don't know who they are separate from their jobs or separate from their being a parent. And that's how it's coming off for you guys. It's like you want to learn who you are separate from this group of people, or separate from these missions that you're always being given. Like you're just kind of over them. So I'm going to see if I can see some more information. So your soul wants freedom. That's what it wants. It wants freedom to like move around. It's like it's always has to give messages and information to stop people from messing with themselves, from like fucking stuff up. This is how it's coming off. It's like you always have to like impart some sort of knowledge or wisdom or some sort of information so humans can stop messing things up in some manner. And you're just kind of over them. Like you just, I'm seeing like someone rolling their eyes, like a soul rolling its eyes at like these annoying humans and these annoying missions. It's repetitive. It's getting annoying. Let me see if I can see anything else. Your soul wants to re-emerge with its memory complex, its collective consciousness complex, memory complex, the group of the soul family, the group of souls, whatever you want to call it. Your soul wants to reunite with it. So I'm getting the impression that for some reason it's separated. It's separated because of all the incarnations. Is that why? Let me double check. Yes, it's separated because of all the bloody incarnations. So it wants to merge back with its memory complex, with its soul family, again, what have you. And again, it also wants to find out who it is simultaneously separate from them. So it kind of wants to take this lifetime just to discover itself and to put its mission on the back burner, to have that take second place. And then when it's done here in this incarnation, learning about who it is separate from its soul family, I do see that it wants to reunite and stay there, at least for a longer period of time, if not permanently, or however you would describe permanently in the astral realm. Yeah, it wants to stop all the cycles. And it doesn't want to come back, at least not anytime soon, if at all. Yeah, your soul wants to discover who it truly is, separate from its people, separate from its clan. It wants freedom. It wants its mission to take a back burner in this lifetime, in this incarnation. And then at the end of it, it wants to re-emerge with its soul family, because it feels like it's cut off and it feels like separated. Like it feels like it's here alone. And because it has had to do it so many times, it's feeling like an outcast. So let me see if there's any final message. Friend. So it's like this memory complex is coming in to say, we're here, your friends, we're here, your group, your coven, your people, we're still around, even if you can't really feel us or sense us or hear us, or, you know, we're still around. And we're still looking out for you, we're still helping you. And even if you feel like you don't really have a lot of friends here on Earth, you do have friends beyond the veil. So you're not as alone as you feel. You feel alone, but you're not. In actuality, you're not alone. And I'm also picking up like a pack, kind of like wolves. So it's like you're always a part of a pack, even if you may feel like a lone wolf. You're still always part of a pack. So they want to remind you of that. So those are your messages. I hope that helps you and I hope it resonated. Let me know if it did, and I will see you in my next reading.